Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So the one person who saw that the Ummah was going in the wrong direction, who witnessed that the covenant of Allah was being broken, who saw that the Prophet's message was being abrogated, who realized that what is happening right now, if it continues, it will change the course of history. It will change the blessings of Allah that Allah had promised for humanity, for Muslims, will not come true. That one person was Syeda Zehra. Right after the death of the Prophet, when people were gathered at Saqifa, and when they selected a caliph which was against the will of the Prophet, against the will of Allah, this lady of heaven, this lady of the leader of all the ladies in the universe from the time immemorial to the time unknown. This lady, Sayyida Zehra, the daughter of the Prophet, stood up. Stood up not because she wanted something. She stood up because the Ummah was going astray, because they had forgotten the covenant. And she didn't care about herself or her family. She cared about the Ummah. She cared about what Allah had promised, the blessings that would have come to the entire Ummah had they followed the teachings of the Prophet on the day of Ghadir. Had they followed what the Prophet had proclaimed on the day of Ghadir. But people did not listen. And that's where it gets really sad. That this lady endured so much trouble just to protect that gift that Allah had promised. So let me elaborate on this. Let me take you on a journey. The 4 steps to the journey. I won't be able to cover the entire journey in this particular podcast. I will continue this journey. But the first one is the gift that Allah had given. We have already talked about the gift. It was mentioned on the day of Ghadir that if you focus, if you follow the commands of Allah that was given on the day of Ghadir, Allah will give you blessings that you cannot accept or cannot expect. So many blessings. That is confirmed by the sermon of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. That is confirmed by the other narrations about the blessings that come through the Imams. So now that happened, but what did Muslims do? They ignored the teachings, they ignored the covenant, they plotted to martyr the Prophet. They plotted to take the power, take the right of Imam Ali alayhi salam away. As a result, there was Saqifa. As a result, there was mutiny. As a result, there was coup. After that, there was this event that happened against Sayyida Zehra, so that Imam Ali alayhi salam can be forced to give bay'ah, can be forced to be subjugated, can be forced into accepting what had happened against the will of the Prophet. That event led to the third thing, because every event has a cause and effect. We just talked about the cause why that event happened at the house of Sayyida Zehra. It was greed, it was evil, it was munafiqat, it was lack of belief. But then the consequence of the events are felt till today. Till today, every time a person dies, every time there's terrorism, every time something happens in the Muslim Ummah, that is because that original covenant, that original message was not accepted. That day when the first terrorist activity happened on the house of Sayyida Zehra, if Muslims had stood up at that time, if Muslims had stood up against the violation of the sanctity of the house of the Prophet, it would not have caused so much trouble. And that's the consequence that till today, these events continue. And what do we see? We see that the Muslims keep quiet. They want to ignore what happened to Sayyida Zehra. They want to, even the Muslims who follow the Ahl Bayt al-Islam, they want to be very politically correct and do not want to highlight this issue. Till that time that first problem is rectified and people realize who was wrong and who was right, this will not happen, will not be fixed till the time that the last Hujjah of Allah comes back and he takes the revenge. And that is an important point. Why would he take the revenge as the first thing that he comes back? Once he gets power, why would he take the revenge? Because that revenge and fixing the problem that happened on that day in Medina is a key to fixing things. And that is where we have a responsibility.